Opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello, and welcome everyone to Scarefest Television. Original broadcast date, May 19th, 2023. And I'll just go ahead and say it. We're off to an inauspicious start. Our guest is here. Richard is doing fine. But so far, we have a studio computer that Windows Update just now let us even turn the motherfucker on. Chad's on a phone call right now. So, let's just see what the hell happens. Hey, Richard, how you been, buddy?
Hey, Wes, man. Doing good. We're ramping up for Bride of Frankencon, but I really appreciate you having me on.
Oh, I unfortunately did not get to go last year because I have a real life, and Adrian and I were talking about it today. Brandon last year sent me to Texas, and I cannot travel every goddamn weekend. That being said, this year my plans are I'm skipping Texas to come see what you all have put together.
Awesome, that's cool. That's good. I was going to ask if you were coming, but
I've heard nothing but good things. I think it's fair to still call you a startup con. I've heard that you all are doing it correctly. How are things coming together? I can't ask you if you're pulling your hair out. That would be terribly, terribly insensitive of me.
That's what happened last year.
Okay. You had a beautiful hair.
Yeah, I had a mullet in the back. It was great.
You are down there in Tennessee. It's a thing. It's a thing, everybody. I did forget to mention, we will have celebrity announcements at the 30-minute mark. I got 2. I thought I was going to have 5 tonight, but our graphics dude, a.k.a. owner of the convention, only sent me 2. And my nose is itching. That's going to be annoying tonight. Okay, first of all, let's tell everybody what we're talking about. Let's go ahead and introduce them to Frankencon. And, of course, this year they're calling it Bride of Frankencon because second one. What are y'all going to do next year? Child? Bastard child?
Everybody says like son of Frankencon, but we're kind of saving that for something else. But no, we have a name, but it's really good. We're gonna save it. Okay. It might be announced this year at after the VIP on Saturday. But I'm torn. Like, I love the name Bride of Frankencon, but like it makes it hard to kind of brand. But hopefully with like changing it every year, people will know that. I mean, Frankencon will always be in the title. So,
as someone who has done graphic artistry and has had to work with social media and branding and everything, that honestly, it's a cute gimmick, but eventually things like that get hard as hell to keep up. And that would be my big, just like we used to come up with a theme every year. I mean, we've been there. We had Camp Scarefest. What were some of our themes? Chad's back on. Chad, you probably remember, what were some of our themes? Big Top Scarefest. We had Big Top Scarefest, Camp Scarefest.
Yeah, we had I'm at a loss. You put me on the spot. Those are the ones that come to mind right now.
We did Rebirth, and then
Resurrection.
Yeah, that was confusing because we did Rebirth, and then a year later Well, it might have been the other way around. But we did Resurrection and Rebirth back to back. And yeah, that was confusing as hell. So yeah, the Lost Year made sense. Okay, Sil in the chat room did point out the Lost Year. That one was merely a marketing gimmick, because all we had to make for that con was t-shirts. That was it. Because that was, of course, the Lost Year. Okay, anyway, I interrupted you.
We will eventually, more than likely, like get like five names or 6 names and then just start over. I mean, this is if we even go that long, you never know. It's a year-to-year event here.
It's as hard as they are, though. It is hard. First of all, you put your blood, sweat, and tears and gold and whatever else in it. But it does not take long to get very emotionally attached to these damn things.
Oh, I'm way deep attached to it. I mean, it's 24/7. I don't not think about it. Like it's always going on in the back of my head. I'm always, typically every single day I work on something, and that starts in August, so I mean, almost a full year. You're just, I mean, I got badges to put together and t-shirt. I have 150 t-shirts downstairs that I have to fold, bag, and sticker, and sometimes I drag my wife's family into it. So on Sundays we have dinner over there, and so I just take badges over there. I'm like, okay, everybody, just put these together for me.
Yeah, I've learned. I live outside of Lexington, so I've learned just not to show up to a lot of functions, because
right,
that happens a lot. So everybody, we are talking about Bride of Frankencon. If you want to play the home game, Frankencon TN on for their website, or just look them up on Facebook. Frankencon will get you there, and they are at the Hilton Knoxville Airport, which is in Alcoa, Tennessee, because Tennessee does their airports like Kentucky does, and sticks Greater Cincinnati.
That's one of the hardest things, right? Because people are like, "Where's your con?" And you don't really want to say Alcoa, Tennessee, because it's a very small town. But it's false if you're saying Knoxville.
Yeah, especially outside of Knoxville. Yeah. There are some towns outside of Knoxville that I don't even know why they're incorporated. I'll say it. I've been around through there. But anyway, the Greater Knoxville Airport is right there. And friend, from all how's the Hilton treating you?
Oh, I mean, I love the Hilton. I sing its praises. They're really, really nice to us. They treat us good. We're kind of an anomaly there. They don't really do conventions. Like, they have like wedding, like, show days, like, where people in the wedding industry will show up for a day, or they do like business meetings and stuff like that. But they never really did like a 3-day con or a 2-day con. Well, last year we were 1 day. So this year we are 2 days. We're Friday and Saturday, June 9th and 10th. With a launch party on June 8th, but we'll talk about that later. But the Hilton has a grand ballroom on one side, and then they have 3 other ballrooms on the other side. And so last year we were just in the grand ballroom. We had photo ops in another room. And this year we have we have both sides this year. And then we have a panel room that has 200 seats. Last year it only had 80. So this year it has 200, so it should fit just about anything we want to put in there. And we actually have a small panel room that we're going to be running like indie movies. I think I'm going to play like Night of the Living Dead in there, a place where you can just go and kind of relax, watch a movie, talk with your friends. And in the back of that room, I'm going to have like some puzzles to put together, and maybe some other games that people can just play back there and just chill out, have a nice relaxing, you don't want to get too overwhelmed. I mean, the Hilton is very large, but it can still get a little crazy.
I go to cons to be overwhelmed. That's the only reason I go. Chad, over to you.
Wes, they call that inebriated, not overwhelmed.
Same difference.
Richard, tell us a little bit about your background so the listeners can get to know you a little bit. How'd you get into horror?
Well, it's funny because, like, growing up, I wasn't super into horror. Like, I think my cohorts, Matt and Corey, they're like, I was in diapers watching horror, and all that, But for me, it was just like I love movies, and my brother was 10 years older than me, and so I remember watching like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 when I probably shouldn't have, and some other ones like that, but really around House of a Thousand Corpses, probably I got really into horror, and Devil's Rejects, and then the foreign boom in the 2000s. So really, I was in my 20s when I discovered my true love of horror. I mean, I loved movies. And in the 90s, I would go to the video store, and Full Moon was like my haven. Like, but I don't know. I never really considered them horror movies, even though they are. But I just like the cheesiness of them, and just I like being able to follow a company and watch all that they did. So that was probably the 90s with Full Moon was probably like how I got into it. And then, I got into a lot of, like I said, foreign horror, and then it's just kind of grew from there. And then, um, over the past like 5 or 6 years, I've gotten back into it. I podcast, we do Night of the Nerdy Laser, and it's a horror podcast where we just pick a movie and talk about it and make fun of it, and we like the dumb ones, and all the cheesy, grungy, grimy street trash and Toxic Avenger and stuff like that. So those are kind of like my love of horror. And then I met Corey and Matt, and their kind of love of horror kind of rubbed off on me. And here we are. I mean, we were just three podcasters, and it was right after the pandemic, and Matt had gotten a hold of Felissa Rose's manager or agent, and and he was like, "Hey, does Felissa do private event, or does she do an event?" Because we knew nothing. Like, and Matt actually had zero. He had never been to a convention until we started doing Bride or Frankencon.
Oh, wow.
He had put on wrestling events for the past 14 years, so he had experience with events and stuff, but he had never really been to a con. Um, so bottom line is we hooked up with our friends down here in Maryville at this pub. It holds like 100 people. We sold 80 tickets to an evening with Felissa Rose, where she just signed autographs, and then we watched Sleepaway Camp, and that sold out. And when that sold out a couple weeks before the event, and I wanted to do it again, but we found out it was very hard. Like, Felissa's kind of an anomaly in many ways, and we found out that nobody really does that. So, especially, I mean, people, we caught Felissa at a good time too because of the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So just coming off of that, and so I started looking into it, and I was like, well, we need like 10 vendors that would help out to pay for stuff. And then it was like, okay, but if we had 40, we would be better. So it just kind of grew. And then, I mean, the Hilton is just it's the only hotel outside of Knoxville near me that has like ballrooms where you could have something. The other places don't. They have like conference rooms, but that's it. So I went to the Hill. I called him up and I said, "Hey, what's the deal?" And so I went out and talked to him, and I mean, we came up with the name, and we were off to the races. We actually announced Frankencon at the Felissa event, which I still wish we had video of that. If I could do
Oh, yeah.
anything in my life, I would do that, because it was such a crazy moment. Like, because we had already booked Joe Bob and Darcy for that event,
Oh,
and
that's a good start.
Yeah, and that was all Corey. Corey, that was his first get, and so we got them, and so the announcement was, "Are you ready for a horror convention here in town?" And all that. And then our first guest, and then the Joe Bob theme song we put on there, and people went crazy. Like they went
I'm
nuts,
sure.
and it was really cool. And then we had a great year last year. It is a smaller con, so it's not like thousands of people. Um, I mean, this year we are expecting, around the 1,500 mark. So we're getting bigger. So because last year we were at like probably the 700 mark total.
Yep.
So we're just a little con that's going, but we have big names and big events, and we think big. So it's a
And we're
little
good.
con, but it's we do think big.
We'll talk a little more about it after the first break here. Let's go ahead and toss the commercial.
Horror. Movie. Fans. For. Life. On Facebook. Find us. For watch parties. For news. For memes. For friends. For life. Horror movie fans for life. Join us.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest TV. We're talking Brad of Frankencon tonight with Richard Ewell. Okay, first of all, I want to say I'm a little envious to the point that it burns my ass that you're actually getting treated good by a hotel. No, the Hilton in Lexington treats us good.
Yeah.
We've had some trouble with the other hotel that shall go nameless. Okay. One thing you brought up before we ever get to the guest lineup and everything, the launch party.
Yeah.
Now you all are. Tell us what you're doing for the Thursday night launch party.
Yeah, so Thursday is really cool. It's a very limited event because it's mainly for super VIP. It's included in that ticket, but that ticket was sold out a long time ago. And then our volunteers, we're letting them come in to that event for free to have some fun. But we do have 30 tickets available, and they're only $20 a piece. And what you get with that is you get Kevin Van Hintenrick, one of our guests, who's from Basket Case. He's going to do an acoustic set on his guitar, so that's really fun. We're going to have Mick Strawn trivia hosted by Mick Strawn, which is my favorite name ever. I figured you'd appreciate that,
Wes. Yeah, I'll put it this way: he's had his if it's out there, he's had his finger in it.
And then finally we have a live screening of Pumpkinhead for the 35th anniversary with a commentary by Brian Broom. So
cool.
Brian was at Scarefest last year with Lance. So Brian was at Frankencon last year, and he was a huge hit. We just fell in love with Brian, and he's coming back this year, as is Mick Strawn. He was there last year as well.
Well, with Mick, he's going to show up anyway, so you might as well give him the damn table.
Yeah, it is kind of true. Yeah, it is funny because we were posting on Facebook that Bride of Frankencon's coming, and he's like, and we announced some people, and he put in the comments, "What about me?"
That's Mick.
So we love Mick.
Yeah, hell of a fun guy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the guest lineup. Tom Matthews, C.J. Graham, got them at the top of the poll. Of course, C.J. everybody knows from Friday the 13th, because he was like Jason. Now, of course, you brought up, I don't want to butcher his name, Kevin Van Henkenrick.
Yeah.
From Basket Case, which I watched, which, you know what? I cannot believe that movie has not been remade.
I mean, it is a little amazing. Have you seen 2 or 3?
Oh, God, they made more than one of them?
Oh, yeah. So
Oh,
2
no.
and 3 are comedies. 2 and 3 are
Oh!
comedies, though.
Because the first one was such a scientific endeavor.
Well, I mean, the first one has horror elements, but 2
Well,
and
yeah.
3, they're really, I mean, they really are just straight up 90s comedies. But, I mean, I love them as well. But there's more freaks. It's not just Belial. He goes to,
Oh.
like, a home that has other freaks in them. It's good stuff.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
Kevin is awesome. He's really nice. He contacted us last year, and he's been great to work with. And we figured since we got Kevin, we might as well get Frank Henenlotter, which he's the director of Basket Case, director of Frankenhooker, director of Brain Damage. And Frank's never done an event in Tennessee, and he hasn't done an event in about 5 years, his agent said. So this is a really, good time to meet him and Kevin. And speaking of Frankenhooker, we have Patty Mullen, who portrayed Frankenhooker. So we basically have a little Henenlotter reunion here, which we're really proud of. I mean, it's really fun. Those movies are really great.
Now, Frankenhooker, I've watched it, and as far as I know, there was only one of those.
There is.
Yeah, but yeah, we were Patty. We were going to try to have. Actually, it was during COVID, so when everybody was just starting to come out of COVID and have stuff, she had a con scheduled in Texas because Texas said, "Screw the pandemic, we're going to go ahead about our business." And Patty was scheduled there, and we almost had her on the show, but she canceled at the last minute. I think there was some confusion involved, but regardless, very popular lady at the cons. And of course,
and she's really nice too.
You got Felissa, Rose, who I never paid attention before, but the banner, the stock photo that you used for the banner, and as soon as I have her on the show, I'm going to call her out on this. That looks like a nipple slip. I'm sorry, it's her hair, I know. But
I see what you're talking about. I think I noticed that. I think I did notice that, and then I concluded that it was hair.
Yeah, I did. I mean, let's hope it's hair, because that picture's out there everywhere.
It's everywhere.
You've got Billy Redden, Banjo Boy. What was the movie that?
Deliverance. He's the Banjo
Deliverance.
Boy.
Well, I mean, he looks so much like
about family relations. I'm not sure why that's on a horror con.
Well, I mean, he looks so much like Joe Biden. I didn't look at that. But anyway, creator of James O'Barr, creator of The Crow. He's got a top-notch lineup. Brian Bremer, who everybody, okay, now, Scarefest, we loved Brian Bremer. No big secret there, fan favorite. Your people loved him, so people, it's worth the trip to head down there just for Brian Bremer. Okay, Chad?
Yeah.
I'll just second that you will not meet a nicer person at a con than Brian Bremer. So, if anybody's out there wondering whether or not they should go, it's worth it just to say hello and talk to him for a few minutes. And not to mention, Felissa is unbelievably kind and friendly to her guests. So it is, you've got quite a lineup, and not only great names, but people who are fan favorites just because of the way they treat the people who show up. So I'm excited to see them and know how it goes. Was there any you mentioned kind of the ties back to Frank as far as the director and several of the actors? Are there any other criteria you use when you're starting to look for guests?
I mean, I guess, I don't know. It is curious. I wonder what other conventions do. Because, you want to get people that you like, obviously. But hopefully the people you like are people that everybody else likes as well. So I mean, we probably just start up a list, and then of people we like and we think that will do good, and that are obtainable in some way. I mean, do we have their agent? Do we know how to get a hold of them? Stuff like that. Which that's a lot of digging most of the time, especially like the first year, we had no clue what we were doing. I mean, I've talked to some major agencies and probably had no right in contacting them, but I'll just talk to anybody. But criteria, it's just what we think that the fans will like and what we will like. I mean, that's really it. And we want to give people that help make the movies that we love a chance. Like a lot of directors, I feel like are getting more of a bump lately. So that's cool, but we want to do that. We've got Donald Farmer coming in, who's basically a legend in indie filmmaking. I mean, he did shot on video stuff back in the '90s, and Donald's a great guy. This year, I'm really interested in this because he's a really good guy. I've seen him on podcasts and such, but we actually have a stuntman coming in, and his name's Nick DeKay. He's worked on basically everything, especially if it was filmed in Atlanta. But he was most notably the double for Eddie Munson, not the guitar double, because that was Adrian, I think's his name.
Yeah.
But he was the stunt double. So,
Oh wow.
So
And
yeah.
Cobra Kai and Fast and Furious, he's got quite a
Oh yeah,
resume.
Marvel movies, like just crazy. I mean, basically, if it was filmed in Atlanta, he was a part of it, and I believe his stunt team won for Stranger Things as well. So I mean, he's really popular in that field, and that was somebody that was brought to us. I didn't know like to look up stuntmen, but somebody, I was kind of friends with his agent, and his agent was like, "Hey, what about Nick Decay?" And I looked over it. I talked it over with the guys. We just thought it was a really cool experience to have a stuntman at the show. I don't know that happened. I mean, besides C.J. Graham and Kane Hodder, who are obviously stuntmen, but um,
The
uh,
creatures.
yeah. And then Nigel Bach is a independent director, and he is just fantastic. He does the Bad Ben franchise, which we are world premiering the 12th movie at
Oh
Bride of
wow.
Frankencon. So he's done 12 of these things. You can look up Bad Ben, and they're great. Found footage, independent movies, and he's a great guy. Um, so yeah, just really just what we think will work and what we want to bring to the con. You always, as a convention, you always try to, um, be different, but it's so hard to, so you can't veer too far from it. But you try to offer something different that isn't in the area or isn't widely known.
I think you've got a great mix of people that are popular on the convention circuit because they have just that following that'll show up wherever they are, and you've got a great mix of that and people that you don't see that often that, like you said,
Yeah.
haven't been going for a few years or uh haven't been seen quite as much out there. So hopefully you'll get quite the draw from both of those.
I mean, somebody I'm like ecstatic about really is Carl York. He played Alan Yates in Cannibal Holocaust, and nobody from that movie will really talk. I mean, it's just the most controversial movie of all time, and to have Carl at our convention, I feel kind of honored because I mean, you don't see his name pop up, and I don't know for what reasons, but I mean, that's a legendary movie, especially in the horror genre.
Yeah, like I said, I think you've got a great lineup just looking at it, but I am a little concerned about Mr. Unhappy being there. That
We
picture
love
on your
Mr. Unhappy.
website is terrifying me.
Yeah, yeah, he was there last year. It's a scary Ronald McDonald, if for those that haven't seen the picture, but um, yeah, he's a good guy underneath
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
as so many scary clowns are as you get to know
and
them.
and we're doing a costume contest for our first costume contest. We didn't do one last year.
Awesome.
So I'm nervous because we've never done one. But I did find somebody that ran costume contests at other cons, so I feel lucky for that.
We always have a good involvement and interaction on the costume, so I'm sure that'll pay off. But we're up against the bottom of the hour, so I'm going to toss it to the next commercial. We'll be right back with Richard.
Actually, I'm your commercial for the 30-minute mark because we're going to do announcements. I need people to sing that little, remember the song we used to sing at summer camp? Announcements. I need somebody to come in and do that for me. Anyway, let's just go ahead and hit them. Our first announcement of the evening, Mr. David Arquette. Mr. David Arquette from Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6, a whole bunch of Scream movies, and Never Been Kissed. So, anyway, David Arquette is coming representing the Scream franchise. And we have Beatrice Bupley. I would have butchered that name all to pieces, but Adrian bailed me out today. And Beatrice is coming, of course, that was Dream Warriors. Now, she is the star that we've been talking about doing the yoga thing. She's a yoga instructor. And she has offered to come in and do a yoga class for us in the morning, bright and early before the con gets going. We just haven't got it scheduled yet. I will be there. I will do yoga.
You would have been there anyway.
You'll already be there anyway, probably doing.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being there and exercising. But I will not do it in my sleepaway camp cosplay, if that does come to fruition. Okay, Central Kentucky Mystical Market, Lexington's premier monthly psychic and holistic event, comes up this weekend, May 20th and 21st, at the Clarion Hotel on Newtown Pike, 1950 Newtown Pike. Soon as you turn off the interstate, it's like right there on Newtown Pike. We're in the paddock ballroom, which is like right behind it's to the left of the check-in desk. By the pool. Anyway, really nice room. We're going to stay there a while. Scarefest Horror Film Festival is still taking submissions. We're up in the 60s. We kind of slowed down. I thought we would already be higher than that, but the Horror Film Festival is still taking submissions, and I believe we're taking them, through the summer. I think the deadline is August, but regardless, get it in there. Speaker applications for the Scarefest. Now, these bitches end this month. This month is your deadline. This is your deadline. May is your deadline. And so if you want to take a shot at speaking in our seminar series, speaker applications are open, but they are getting ready to not be. And just saying, my Patreon project to support my recovery from my cardiac event has kind of leveled off. We're not making any headway towards getting me to come to Scarefest in Sleepaway Camp cosplay. Sleepaway Camp cosplay, which is on the screen now. I'm only 13% to the number of Patreon supporters that I have to do that. If you go to patreon.com/ScarefestRadio, you can find my Patreon project, and you can get me there for as little as $1 a month. Supporters subscriptions start at $1 a month, and you get to read my progress blog, which is mostly just me making over the hot rehab nurse that I don't have anymore because I'm out of rehab. Anyway, Best of Lexington. Now, this is one more little project here. Closes today. VoteLexington.com. VoteLexington.com. Go there. Choose annually things to do. then go to annual events, and there we are, Scarefest weekend. This is the last day to do it. Now, just not trying to tell you to game the system, but if you have like 2 phones in the house, a couple of desktops and a laptop, guess what? Yeah, you can vote from every damn one of them. I've done it. So anyway, back to our guest, Richard Ewell from Bride of Frankencon. Nice little convention at the Hilton Knoxville Airport in Alcoa, Tennessee. Guess which one of your guests, other than Brian Bremer, I like seeing Brian, but guess which one of your guests I want to meet more than any of them? Just guess.
That you've never met? Or
yes, that I've never actually met.
Oh, Honey the Mail Girl?
No, although I understand the attraction there. Jessa Flux, and she friended me. Everybody, Jessa is Trauma. She's a Trauma actress. She's done some films with Trauma, and that's how she apparently pulled me out of thin air after Scarefest this year. And so we're friends on Facebook, and I want to meet this lady and tell her she's on like Facebook like 24 hours a day. I don't even know how anybody can. I'm too old to be that much of a social media butterfly. But
Jess is awesome. I actually just got the movies in today, but she's in a movie of Donald Farmer's that is premiering. Well, not premiering because it's out, but we're doing a late night show on Saturday, June 10th at 10 o'clock, and it's the movie Debbie Does Demons. And Jessa Flux is in that movie.
Yeah, she's been advertising that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and go through your calendar real quick. Okay, we've established the launch party on Thursday. Starts, actually, VIP starts at like noon on Friday, right?
Yeah, super VIP ticket holders get in at noon. Those are sold out, but we still have VIPs left. And you can get in a half hour early each day with that. So at 12:30 on Friday.
Okay, and then the general public at 1 o'clock. Then I can do that. Okay.
Yep.
Now Friday night, what's cooking after hours Friday? Anything?
So yeah, after hours we got VIP activities. So we've got on Friday we have the true story of Cannibal Holocaust with Carl York. That'll be an in-depth panel with him. And then we're going to have a screening of Frankenhooker with live commentary with Patty Mullen, done by the guys over at Rants from the Black Lodge. So I'm really excited about that. Those two things are really, really cool.
Okay. Saturday. Now, Saturday. What time do we open the floor on Saturday?
Oh, you would ask me that. Let's see.
Take a watch
Saturday we open for super VIP 10 o'clock, VIP 10:30, and general admission 11 o'clock. And I always have to say general admission tickets are available now, but they will also be available at the door. People always ask if general admission is available at the door, and yes.
I guess it's become a thing now that a lot of these places just don't want your money.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I could understand. Like some events do cap tickets. Like, I mean, that is a thing.
Well, I understand if you have a fire marshal thing.
Yeah.
They run into that with Comic-Con at our convention center. But
sure.
But our convention center itself, which creates a lot of confusion, quit taking cash money. In other words, everything has to, so in other words, you have to have a credit card to do anything that involves a convention center, but at a convention, you damn near gotta have cash to do anything that has to do with the convention.
That's frustrating.
It creates a little confusion. Mostly just explaining it to people why it is. Now, when you take a dollar bill, let's go conspiracy theory. Okay. Dollar bills say this is legal tender for all debts. So, if I walk up and hand you a dollar bill to pay for something and you won't take it, that might be unconstitutional. Just saying.
Might be on to something.
People say I'm on things all the time. Chad, over to you.
So there's a lot of stuff going on, Richard. What are you looking forward to the most?
So our vendor hall, I just want to say, is open 1 to 8 on Friday. So the vendor hall is open till 8 o'clock. We stay open a little later for people that have to work that day. And then our vendor hall is open 11 to 6 on Saturday. There's a few things I'm looking forward to. On Saturday, we're doing one of our breakdown scenes, which my Matt kind of started it. I've never heard of it before. And so we call them scene breakdowns. And on Saturday, we're doing Friday the 13th, part 6, Jason Lives. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch the opening, 15 minutes of Jason part 6. And Tom and CJ are going to talk about it. So there'll be commentary over the scenes. We did this last year with like the dinner scene with Grandpa, John Dugan from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So the scene breakdowns proved to be very popular. On Saturday, we're having a horror themed puppet show, which I'm very, very happy about. We got Felt Nerdy is the name of the company, and they've got a Dracula puppet and a Frankenstein's monster kind of thing. And it's just going to be a really fun puppet show for all ages, not just kids. There might be an innuendo or two in there for adults to take over. Let's see. We've got VIP on Saturday. I'm hoping to host this one. We're doing Inside the Mind of the Crow with James O'Barr. That'll be on VIP on Saturday night. And because I'm a big fan of that movie and the comic, and just James is. I'm really happy to have James at the con. And we're doing a screening of Sleepaway Camp with a live commentary with Felissa Rose. By the YouTube stars, we watched a movie, which I believe they were there at Scarefest last year. So if you met them last year, you can meet them again here at Frankencon.
And if you need a visual aid, we might be able to send Wes down in his cosplay. I keep telling him he's cosplaying the wrong character.
I have 100 subscribers by the time the doors are open at Frankencon, yes, I will do that.
We're gonna plug this. We're gonna plug this on Frankencon.
Whatever gets me there, dudes. Whatever gets me there. When's a costume contest?
Oh, it's Saturday. So and it is kids and adults, and it's the actual contest is at 3 o'clock on Saturday right now, but you have to be there earlier to like pre-qualify for
prejudging.
Prejudge it. Thank you. So prejudge it. I know, like I said, I know nothing about costume contests, but everything the person I'm working with makes complete sense, and we wouldn't have done it that way. So, so it seems like it'll be really great, and pretty easy. But try to get there at 11 o'clock on Saturday and find out how to get prejudged for that costume contest. And we're doing the Franken Film Festival, our short film festival, on Saturday at 4:15. Now submissions are obviously, we close those, but that's included with the general admission ticket. So we've got 13 films this year, I think. So they range between 1 minute and 12 minutes, really. So that'll be on Saturday, and that was very popular last year. So, but just we have a lot of events. We have them on the website. We've got some world premieres of movies. Grandma by Bobby Knight Jr. That's going to be our Friday night late night showing. And Mick Strawn's going to have a panel hosted by the Rants from the Black Lodge guys. There's just a lot going on, and we're really excited.
I know as we get closer to Scarefest every year, people start asking about tips for attending. Anything you need to share or let people know about parking, or what to wear, what to expect for people who haven't been there before?
Yeah, sure. So parking is free at the hotel for us. So that's like unheard of. You don't really get that. Now if that hotel, the hotel parking lot,
Lexington does kind of suck now that you mention it. Go ahead.
no, Atlanta's the same way. I mean, Chattanooga. I went to Chattanooga this past weekend, and I had to pay $15 a day. I mean, it's $45 for 3 days. So there's free parking. Now, if that does fill up, which from what I know last year it did not. Now it could this year, but if that fills up, we do have additional parking in the back. That is $10. But that turns into the airport parking, but that is a lot that we can use. So all the more reason to get there early in the day and try, or well, our discount for the hotel is no longer active, but if people are staying at the hotel, that makes it easy too. Other tips: we plan on having a food truck there, um, one each day, and then there is food inside. They usually do a buffet style, and there is like a convenience store, like in the hotel. Um, so they have like a little Starbucks there, and then they have drinks and snacks and stuff like that. There is also a bar at the hotel, so that's really nice. Um,
A
I'm
must have for
torn.
any convention.
I'm
yeah.
torn. Which to look forward to more? Do I like coffee or bars better?
Put Bailey's in your coffee. You'll be
There
fine.
you go.
You know, I've never gotten into Irish coffee. Never have. Okay. We got the costume contest covered. Let's
And
go
then
ahead.
well, we'll say that one thing I have to always remember is like we don't have an ATM in the hotel. So I do urge people to like bring money. There is an ATM in the airport, so they can walk over there. But yeah, like you said, it's better to have cash at
Mhm.
conventions. I mean, like we will take cards and stuff for we'll have T-shirts for sale and
Right.
obviously tickets and all that. So you can pay us in card and keep the cash. But a lot of the celebrities, um, I mean, a lot of them don't take card or don't have card. I think last year we had a couple of celebrities like sharing an account of somebody that they knew each other, so they were just like, "Well, I'll just put it in that account." So,
Well, okay. Well,
whatever.
I wish I trusted someone that much.
No
Let's wait.
kidding.
I want to get a plug in here for Hedgewitch Hall. Hedgewitch Hall, tea and gifts. Go to hedgewitchhall.com. They are a sponsoring vendor of Scarefest 2023. Tea with intent. Every tea blend has a purpose. Go to their website. I had no idea there was so much going into teas. You can get it you can shop based on the caffeine content, the interest. Are you looking for wise, fun, or eccentric blends? Format, that means bag or loose, whatever. But check out their website, hedgewitchhall.com, a supporter of Scarefest for years, long as I can remember. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do our movie review from Bonehead Weekly, and then we'll be back with more Scarefest TV featuring Bride of Frankencon, Richard Ewell.
Hey, Scarefest, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly with another review of a horror film that was not shot in English. This review is about 2020's Hellhole. It just came out on Netflix well, that's what it says. I don't know. I don't know when it dropped on Netflix, but it's a Polish film. And normally this is the second week in a row that I'm doing a movie that wasn't originally shot in English, but once again, I get a lot of complaints about, oh my God, your third act. You complain about the third act. Once again, this is another movie where if you can follow it through till you get to the third act, it's worth every minute. And it's only about 80 minutes long, 80 some minutes long. And I truly enjoyed this movie. It takes place in 1987, where a young militia guy, I don't know how Polish law enforcement works, he goes in and infiltrates a monastery that's cut off from the rest of the world for some insane reason, where they're supposed to be doing exorcisms, where they're working with the possessed, and he's pretending to be a clergyman. and he tries to explain or figure out this mysterious disappearances of several tormented residents and several, looks like a lot of ladies and some other folks. The plot really doesn't matter so much as in you can kind of figure out a lot of things as they go. However, as you go through it, it's interesting because the lead character, the militiaman that we're following, the cop, whatever you want to call him, is probably not the lead character and definitely not the most interesting person in the movie. It reminds me of, but it's nothing like, Big Trouble in Little China, whereas Kurt Russell's Jack Burton is supposed to be the hero, but it's actually the little small Asian guy that's kicking ass and a lot smarter than him, right? Jack Burton's not really that bright. He just keeps kind of going. It's like Ash from The Evil Dead. But however, this guy not necessarily makes stupid mistakes, but just he's a very unremarkable person. And there's some sort of curse, and is he or isn't he the chosen one? There's a baby that's almost murdered at the beginning of the movie with a flashback. Is fairly banal. It's not all that interesting, but the third act of this movie, and it's not really a twist. I think you figure it's just done so well. And what happens is apocalyptic in a sense. And I really enjoyed this movie. It didn't have a lot of high hopes. It's one of those where Facebook kind of suggests things to you, and I never take them up on it. But this time I did, and I enjoyed it. I'm glad I did. 2020's Hellhole. And you could make a lot of jokes about this movie, like it was a hellhole. What was this movie like? A hellhole. Really isn't. It's probably not even the best title. There's a hole under the monastery. Does it go to hell? Who knows? Are these monks faking everything? Possibly. No. But go along for the ride. And that last 15, 20 minutes for me was worth every minute, every second. It was good. I really enjoyed this movie. So what I want you to do is when you have time, check out Netflix's Polish film Hellhole from 2020. It's on Netflix. It's called Hellhole. Check it out. This has been Joe Lewis. Maybe I'll watch another movie that wasn't shot in English. I don't know. What do you all think? You think I should? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Just a bit.
Joe's cat hasn't made an appearance for a while. I need to talk to him about that. Everybody, welcome back to Scarefest TV. We got a few more minutes talking about Bride of Frankencon, held at the Hilton Knoxville Airport in Alcoa, Tennessee. Just a short hop. Boy, my hair's funky tonight. Just a short hop down the interstate to Knoxville. It's like on the way to Gatlinburg. Everyone in Kentucky knows where the hell Knoxville is. Just don't even try to fake it. We've talked about the guests. Okay, you pretty well covered Saturday. Chad, that was an excellent question, getting him to tell what people need to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. I get one
that I don't
once a year
think
or so.
about much.
So I don't even know what else to talk about.
We'll have a map on. So the day of, check our social media. Frankencon TN is basically all of our social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Not so much on Twitter, but we are there. So I'll have a map with kind of directions on how to navigate the hotel. Because getting off the exit is kind of weird. Just at any of these airport hotels can be tricky, but we try to drop all the information on social media. Any cancellations or additions, anything like that, we always try to announce. We're just not one of these conventions that would hold it. If we know somebody is canceling or we know we're changing something, we put it on our website or we put it on social. We don't hide it. That's just not how we do things. So we've already had a couple of cancellations, but that happens. So
right,
no more from here on out. Last year we had really good luck, so we're hoping that luck still runs into this year. And last year we just had it was just a really good vibe. We kind of cater towards people that like the grungier side of horror or the more independent side of horror. So that sparks interesting conversations when you're in line. and everybody, we have a huge lobby and the hallway is really wide. So people kind of, would just sit out there and talk. And there's a lot of ways to converse. And even last year, when I was crashing around 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night, people were having hotel party rooms, room parties and stuff. So, I mean, there's lots of stuff to do. It's a hotel convention, so those always have a different vibe. You could ride in a hotel with Felissa Rose downstairs. I helped Grandpa John Dugan last year with his luggage up to his room. Like just situations like that, if you're in the right time, right place, obviously don't pester people, but the guests are really cool with our attendees, and everybody had a really good time last year. So
That's
I
actually
expect more of the same this year.
That's okay. As those who are following my Patreon project know, so I quit smoking back in February. That's actually the worst thing. Some of the best celebrities I've actually met and spent quality time with, it was out on Smoking Ant Lounge. So I'll have to cigars.
No. You can still go
We're gonna
out
get
and
you some
talk to
candy cigarettes.
Yeah, I mean, those candy.
You can still socialize, but no smoking.
No, I'm drinking. I'll be smoking. So I get that somewhere. I got one of those vape things that look like a cigarette, because I was one of the tacky ones that said, no, I want if I'm gonna vape, I don't even know if we can still get cartridges for it. Anyway, that's enough. Okay, so once again, we're gonna recap now. Social media for Frankencon. Basically, Frankencon, TN, is the handle. But if you type in on Facebook on the search Frankencon, it pops it right up. And also, the website is frankencontn.com. It's got all the information everybody needs. I am going to ask, now this is one I'm just going to, because I'm a capitalist sponsor dude. Everything is presented by OrbitDVD.com. Tell us about Orbit DVD before we let you go.
Yeah, Orbit is a physical media store in Asheville, North Carolina. They've got Blu-rays, DVDs, video games, VHS, all that stuff. But their online presence is really big. So you can order any movies coming out on 4K. Mark from Orbit is really awesome, and they were at Scarefest last year. So they do a lot of imports, so stuff from Australia and other countries they get in. So yeah, OrbitDVD.com. We have a sponsor page, and without sponsors, it's hard to do this. So we've got Orbit, we've got Dungeon, we've got Central Cinema, Smoky Mountain Fan Fest, Grindhouse, One Man Riot. And One Man Riot is an artist that is at Scarefest. They were last year. Golden Age 1942, Ransom Black Lodge, Brutal Arts, and Spooky Dudes. So Awesome Pillows as well, which a lot of those are Scarefest people too. So it's really nice that the community comes together and kind of helps each other out. That's what I love about this kind of community.
Well, and as far as conventions go, you all are not douchey. So
good.
We get along great with you. But Tracy Courtney wins the award for best solution to wanting to go out and smoke a pipe. I haven't smoked a pipe in a long time, and I've got a pipe somewhere. Or in Tennessee, every souvenir stand has those corncob pipes.
It's true.
We're gonna put bubbles in it.
Yeah. Hey, whatever. So anyway, Richard, thank you for coming on tonight, and
thank you for having me.
Oh,
Wes.
the best of luck. Best of luck with
yeah. Hope to see y'all there, and we really appreciate the support that Scarefest has given us. It's been amazing, and we love you guys.
So June 9th and 10th, everybody.
Yep, June 9th and 10th.
June. We're just talking over each other now. June 9th and 10th. June 9th and 10th. Frankencon in Tennessee. Bride of Frankencon. Everybody check them out. We'll see you next week.